Hey y'all, it's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 9, Episode 13. The episode picks up and the girls are outside talking to the police officer and they're telling him everything that's going on with Karen, how she just lost her baby, how she's going through postpartum depression, how she took the baby with her. They also mention the cryptic note and the officer's like, I don't know how to break this to you, but when people leave notes like that, they most likely contemplated or already have done it. Danny's like, that's not possible. And he's like, let's not think like that. I think what the officer's saying, we're just weighing out the options. And the officer agrees with her, and he tells them that he's going to do a missing persons report, and they need to stay behind and do individual statements. And Danny's like, I'll stay. What I think happened is she got that officer's number, to be honest. Over at Zach and Fatima gets a call from Karen. She asks Karen, is she okay? Is she in danger? And Karen's like, I can't tell you that. Fatima's like, let me go get Zach. And Karen's like, no, Zach can't know about this. So Karen, if she can't know if you're in danger, and she can't tell Zach, what was the point in calling her? My question is, who will be there to save Fatima when she needs saving? Because she's always saving somebody else, and I don't know why they're writing her character like that. How did she remember Fatima's number by heart, but she didn't think to call her sisters? Oh, that's just here nor there. But anyway, Karen's like, I'm going to give you this address and you come along. Giving somebody an address that they have no idea to where they're going and telling them to come along sounds like a setup to me, and Fatima felt the same way. But Fatima goes downstairs and she looks for Zach because she thinks that Zach is supposed to be on the couch because that's where she put him. But he's not there, he's over at Karen, so she calls him and he basically tells her everything that's going on with Karen. And Fatima can't say nothing because she already promised Karen that she wouldn't. And Zach is like, if Karen shows up, let me know. I feel like Fatima should have definitely let Zach know what was going on so everybody else in the house wouldn't be worried, thinking the worst. But I understand Fatima wanted to be loyal to Karen in that moment. I don't understand why, but alright. So it turns out that Karen's at this support group called Forever Grace Center, and it's a place for moms that are going through postpartum and grief journeys. And during the meeting, Karen is talking to the ladies and she's like, I love my baby, but it felt like my world was caving in and I didn't know what to do and I was spiraling. I'm glad that Karen is finally realizing that she needs help and she's taking the steps to get that help, but did she have to go this way about it? No, she didn't. So Fatima shows up and she's like, Karen? Karen's like, thank you for coming. Fatima's like, why'd you call me? Karen's like, I called you because I knew that you wouldn't judge me, and all my other sisters, they would have a fit and judge me. Don't agree with Karen all the time, but she was definitely right about that. The other sisters are very judgmental, and they would get down her throat instead of praising her for the help that she's getting. So Karen really has to sit down with Fatima, and she basically like, I left because I felt like I needed help. I was spiraling, and I didn't know what to do. So I looked up the place on the pamphlet that Dr. Vaughn gave me, and it just led me here. And I feel like it was a sign from my baby because this place is called Forever Grace. Fatima's like, I'm so glad that you're getting the help that you need, but your friends and family are thinking that you're missing and something happened to you. Karen's like, why? And Fatima's like, because of that cryptic note that you left. You took your child in the middle of the night. You told nobody where you were going. And Karen's like, I was just writing down my thoughts. Fatima's like, well, they found it and they read it and they have the police looking for you. Karen's like, they called the cops. Fatima's like, I'm glad that I came here because I can listen to the other ladies talk and they can truly understand what I'm going through because everything feels numb. Fatima's like, I can't understand what you're going through. Fatima's like, well, this is a heavy burden that you shouldn't have to carry on your own. I'm like, Fatima, you better not be the one to help her carry. Look over at Karen's, everybody's talking and being optimistic about how Karen wouldn't do this to herself and she wouldn't hurt the baby. Andy's like, I guess she got her strength from Miss Lisa. And Miss Lisa's like, once a Marine, always a Marine. Sabrina's like, well, you do scare me a little bit. Andy's like, you do scare me too. That's when Danny comes back in from giving her statement to the police officer. She lets him know everything that happened, which literally nothing happened. He just said he's going to give him some more information once he finds it out. So the girls are talking. And Andy's like, I'm going to go get my laptop out the car. Sabrina's like, I'm going to come with you because I need some air. So the girls leave out. Zach and Danny basically have a conversation. And Danny basically tells him that he smells like a bar and he needs to leave that Henny alone. And Zach is like, well, I'm having problems with Fatima. She got me sleeping on the couch. Danny's like, well, what happened? Zach is like, well, one of her clients came over and gave an expensive gift to my wife. And I'm not supposed to have a problem with it. Zach is like, oh, and I also implied that she was a groupie. And Danny's like, oh, no, you didn't. Fatima's a good woman. She don't deserve that. You better straighten up because I ain't got no more room on my... Like, you should also imply the part that you didn't tell Fatima where you was going and you just hopped in your car and came over here. But we're not going to talk about that. Zach brings up how the whole Karen situation is bothering him. And Danny is like, you shouldn't worry about that. She's going to be all right. In so many words, I feel like she was saying that Karen shouldn't be your concern. So the girls eventually come back in, and Pam's there, and the girls question her, did they see Karen? Did she come to the salon? Pam was like, no, I waited for a long time. She never showed up. The girls are like, could she be with one of her favorite employees? Pam was like, they don't even like her like that. I'm the only one that likes Karen. Some time passes, and Karen comes home with the baby, and of course, Fatima brings her in, and everybody is just looking around like, what? I can't. They're like, you scared us half to death, but I'm glad that you're alright. I'm glad that you're safe. They're like, where did you go? And Karen's like, I went to this place called Forever Grace Circle. I felt like it was my angel leading me there. I got the information from Dr. Vaughn when I went to go see him that day. They're like, so why'd you leave so abruptly? You could have just shot us a text or something. Then Karen goes into the reason why she called Fatima and how Fatima answered for her. And of course, Andy felt some type of way about it. I think Andy finally realized that she doesn't hold that much of an important place in Karen's life that she thought she did, to the point that Karen called somebody else that's completely outside the sister circle. But Karen goes into reasons why she didn't call them. She's like, Andy, every time I call you, you're busy. Sabrina, you're always kumbaya all the time. And Danny, you could be a little bit aggressive. And as far as Pam goes, she didn't know what to say. She's like, I just wanted to be around some people that could relate. And Andy's like, you know, if you would have texted any of us, we would have answered for you. Andy, stop being jealous at the moment and just be happy that the girl's safe and her baby's alright. Fatima is the first one to leave, and she gives Karen a hug, and she's like, I'm surprised you knew my number by heart. Karen's like, of course. So everybody else leaves, and it's just Karen and Aaron there, and Aaron's like, you scared the crap out of me. Karen's like, I just needed to figure this out on my own. Aaron's like, you're never alone. Karen's like, thank you. Over at Danny's, it's the next morning, and Danny's leaving for work, and Tony's, of course, sitting at the kitchen table doing absolutely nothing. So they talk about him moving in again. Danny doesn't say nothing. I'm like, y'all just need to talk about this instead of beating around the bush. Danny, what are you so scared of? Just tell the man that you don't want him living with you. Danny, are you scared that he's going to leave you if you tell him that you don't want him to move in with you? Over at Zach and Fatima's is the next morning. Of course, Zach and Fatima are arguing about the whole Karen situation, and Zach feels like she should have communicated, and I'm definitely on Zach's side on that. She should have definitely communicated. Then they start arguing about the whole Chaz situation because Zach's not over it, so he brings it up, and then Fatima brings up the whole midwife situation and how he didn't communicate with Fatima that he left during the middle of the night, and he told her not to leave, but he left anyway. How he showed up drunk in the middle of the day. So Fatima leaves because she's going to work, and Zach is like, I'm getting tired of you running. And I'm like, at this point, I'm so sick of them arguing. Can we just fast forward to the growth that they are having in Fatima and how healthy of a couple that they are right now? For Sabrina calls Danny to talk about the whole Karen situation, how Fatima showed up with Karen and how they thought that it was weird. Danny tells Sabrina about how Tony's still talking about moving in with her, and Sabrina's trying to convince her that it's a good idea. And I'm like, Danny, just tell the man that you don't want him to move in with you. Tell Sabrina that you don't agree that it's a good idea and stop trying to convince you about it, because you have your mind made up that you don't want this man to move in with you, even though you haven't told him that you didn't want him to move in with you. Then Danny starts talking about how she needs her money and how she's going to withdraw it and she's going to put it under her mattress. And I'm like, Danny, you might not want to do that. Seeing that your cousin just got out of jail and he likes to come over your house and you might steal that money, I really don't think that's a good idea. I think you should keep it in the bank so you can see when the transactions are being made and how they're being made. With cash, you don't know who take your money and how much it. We're at the bank, we see Sabrina talking to Maurice, and she's telling him about the whole Karen situation. Then she's also telling him about Rock and how she wants to continue to see him. She lets him know that that's Danny's cousin, and she's asking Maurice for advice to see if she should still see him. And of course, Maurice is going to give her the advice to keep doing it. Sabrina, you shouldn't do that because you're going to end up with a baby by a man. That's about. Over at the law firm, we see Andy talking to Fatima, and Fatima came in Andy's office to grab some papers so that she could complete the assignment that Andy had for her. And Andy's like, well, we're going to need some more reports so that we can continue to convince Benson. They talk about Benson for a minute. Then Andy realizes that something's wrong with Fatima, and Fatima realizes that she can't confide in Andy anymore, so she doesn't tell her that she had an argument. Of course, Andy brought up the whole Karen situation to Fatima because she's jealous, and Andy, as long as that girl is home and she's safe and that baby is safe, what you gotta be jealous for? You're just adding more stuff to the list to be mad at Fatima. Andy, are you just mad that Karen actually called you out for being a bad friend sometimes? Back over at Karen's, Aaron and Karen have this discussion, and Aaron's fed up with Karen to the point he's like, I thought something was wrong with you. You should let me in. You're not in this alone. I really thought that something was wrong with you and the baby. I've been a great father to Faith. I've been a good partner to you, and you do me like this. Why don't you just let me in? I'm like, Aaron, she didn't even want you to be that baby's father. So why would she even let you in and let you know how she... Karen's like, I'm sorry, I didn't see it like that. I didn't mean to do you like that. I'm really sorry. Karen's like, I'm in this alone. This is a lot for me to carry. I just wanted to carry my own weight. I don't mean to feel like this. I didn't ask to feel like this. Aaron's like, well, I'm not going to keep chasing you around just to be a member of my own family. Even though I love you and I love our daughter, let me know what I can do to fix this. Let me help you out. Aaron's like, name anything and I'll do it. Karen's like, I need to change the scenery. I want to leave Atlanta. I'm so glad that Aaron spoke up for himself and he's not allowing Karen to walk over him anymore. And he's actually putting his foot down and letting her know that I'm not invisible and you're not going to treat me like I am. I'm like, Ebony, is this your way of leaving the show? So now you and Gary are leaving? Is this the end of Sistas for real? Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn your bell notifications. Bye!